Hello everyone, this is CJ Wiley, and welcome to Mastering Pocket Billiards. Today you're going to be my road partner, and I'm going to share with you the secrets that I have found and discovered while competing against many players playing the game of 8-ball. The game of 8-ball is an awesome game. It's one of my favorites. I grew up playing 8-ball in rotation, and played on the road a lot, and not only played my best pool, but also learned how to toy with my opponents and stall around where they thought they could beat me when they really couldn't. So in doing all this, I found out the deep levels of 8-ball and really how to play the game when you can run out even when you're not playing that well. I have a really good track record playing 8-ball. I've won probably 80% of the tournaments that I've played in. I'm not talking about major tournaments, just local tournaments, and I've probably played 400 tournaments in my life of 8-ball and won a great majority of them. So anyway, what I want to share with you today is how I play the game that's probably different than how you would think that a professional would play the game, because it's really hard to tell until you know. It's like they say, we don't really become familiar with something until we can recognize it, and we can only recognize it when we become familiar with it. So I'm going to tell you some things about how I play 8-ball that you can try yourself, and in doing so, you're going to find out some things that probably hadn't occurred to you before. Because the game of 8-ball, you have a lot of different choices in the game, and how most people play is they look for a pattern and they try to run it out in their mind before they do it. The trouble with that is, just like in life, nothing goes exactly as planned. So I don't play patterns like most people do, where you're just playing shape on one ball to get the perfect angle to get on the next ball, and so on until you get down to the 8. Because what will happen if I do that is, the closer I get to the 8-ball, the less choices I will have. And sure enough, the ball before the 8 or the 8-ball I'm going to have trouble with, and if I'm not a super advanced player, I probably will get stuck there. And if I miss the ball before the 8 or the 8, I just basically give up the game, because my opponent has an open table with all his balls on the table and has a decisive advantage. Because really, the person with the most balls on the table at any given time really does have an advantage. I look at the table more like it's a battlefield, and my balls are the soldiers, and my opponent's balls are the enemy soldiers. So I break the table in half at the side pockets and look at the back of the table and the front of the table to see who really is in control of those two sides of the battlefield, so to speak. And one of the key things that you probably already know is you want to break out your trouble balls to begin with. You want to make those balls that are the trouble balls as quickly as you can, because if you wait till later in the rack, again, you won't have the choices on how to break the balls out, and you won't have other balls to shoot in case it doesn't come out exactly as planned. So what I do, and what I would suggest that you do for the next week or two, is just play the game and play position on 2 or 3 of your balls at the same time. This will require you to stay more in the center of the table, because if you get close to the rails, you'll notice that you won't be able to make 2 or 3 of your balls at the same time very often, and sometimes you'll only be able to make 1, and if you're not on the right angle or the right side of the ball on that 1, it'll be difficult to get position on the remaining balls that you have on the table. So what I do when I'm playing, and this is what I would recommend that you start practicing, is I play position on 2 or 3 balls at the same time every time. Now, when the ball stops rolling, I pretty much know which ball I'm going to shoot, so I go to that shot as if I played the cue ball exactly for that shot. However, that's not really what I'm doing. I'm playing a zone where if the cue ball stops a foot before or a foot after the point that I'm trying to get to, I still have another shot. Therefore, the reason that it's good to play shape on 2 or 3 balls at the same time. Then when you're breaking balls out, you always want to have what's called a safety ball or a key ball, so that you just look at where that cluster of balls is that you're breaking out, and you want to look and make sure that there's another one of your balls that you can shoot if the cue ball just ends up right in that spot. Because when you're breaking out the balls, the chances of getting position on the ball that you're breaking out is very slim, because your opponent's ball's right there guarding that ball, so to speak, and just the percentages of getting on that ball are pretty low. That's why you want to break those balls out as soon as you can. And if you practice playing position on 2 or 3 balls at the same time, every time that you can, I mean, I know, of course, there's times when there's only 1 ball available, but you want to play position on that 1 ball so that you can get right back into playing position on 2 or 3 balls at the same time. There again, when possible. Because what it'll do is it'll open up your mind to see how the real deep level of 8 ball is played. Because if you play shape on 2 or 3 balls at the same time, one of those shots is going to be ideal. That's what I've found, and there's very few exceptions to that. So some of these racks that I start running that look like they're impossible become possible because I play shape on 2 or 3 balls, and one of those balls will end up being perfect to maybe make a breakout or 2 breakouts to open up the table so that I can run out and finish the rack. So if you get in this mindset and start looking at a position to play shape on 2 or 3 balls at the same time, what you'll notice, you'll probably end up in the center of them, closer to the center of the table. You always have more options when you're at the center of the table or close to it than you will if you're close to the rail. So I want you to just open up your mind and just for the moment put your past beliefs on the shelf of how you're supposed to play, and just concentrate on playing position on 2 or 3 balls at the same time every time, and just see how that works. See how it unlocks the game and allows you to run racks that otherwise you probably wouldn't be able to run. So I'm going to put another video up here in about a week. I want to give you at least a week to practice this, and then you can come back to masteringpocketbilliards.com, and I'm going to have a second part to this and continue to give you the secrets that I learned on the road, gambling, and playing tournaments against the top players in the world for many years. And that will save you a lot of frustration and allow you to reach your highest level in your game, your fullest potential, as quickly as possible. For now, this is CJ Wiley. I'll talk with you soon.